Welcome to another episode of Jay's Finest, and today we're installing upper rear control arms for the WRX. And I'm going to explain to you what I got and why did I get these versus the OEM upper control arms. Alright, so these are the tools that I use to make all of this happen. So here's just a 19mm socket. This is an impact socket, so it's a deep socket. 22mm impact socket, but it is a short socket. 12mm, no, it's a 17mm. I do recommend getting a ratchet like this. You can see during the video. This is 17mm right here, short socket, and this is a very small wrench. You really need a very small impact wrench, because if not, this job is gonna be a pretty interesting job for you. But I really recommend getting this one. Of course, you have your regular ratchet right here, which is this is a 1/2-inch ratchet. Then you also need a wrench, which is 17mm. Then you're gonna need at least 3 adjustable ratchets, or you can just have 2. It's really up to you. That's just so you can go ahead and adjust the upper control arm. And you might need a needle nose pliers or some pliers of some sort just to remove the wheel speed sensor clips that are just holding the wire. And of course, you need a breaker bar to break the lug nuts loose, and you need a torque once you're gonna ahead and put your wheels back on. The torque, 94 foot-pounds of torque, so just letting you know about that. So let me show you what I got, which they're right here. These are upper control arms that you could adjust for extreme cambers, which I'm not going for extreme camber. So what we're gonna do is install these guys, and I'm going to explain why did I buy them. So for the reasons why I bought these control arms versus buying an OEM is because the cost. Buying a new upper control arm costs around $300 something at the dealer. So this is the rear of the WRX. I know it doesn't really show too much on camera, but the wheel is a little bit further back, and believe it or not, the camber is -3. Since you saw me in the last video, I put a lower control arm to adjust the camber, and hopefully I was gonna, fix the camber issue, which it did on the passenger side, but on the driver's side, for whatever reason, I could not get out of -3 because the wheel is a little bit more further back, and I believe the upper control arm, it is a little bit damaged, so it's not allowing me to get not positive camber, at least to get rid of the -3 camber. I want to at least get -1.2 or -1 camber in the rear. But because the wheel's a little bit further back, I can't really adjust anything, and if I put new tires or put new wheels, it's gonna start rubbing on the fender liner, which I do not want to get rid of. And as well, you can clearly see how closer the wheel is here, the tire is here versus right in this side. Let me show you the passenger side so you guys can see what I'm talking about. Okay, so right here you can see how this wheel looks a little bit more, in the right place. There's a good gap here, there's a good gap here, and it's not gonna rub if I put new wheels or tires in there, so you'll be good. So this is the issue I'm running on the driver's side, which is it's just the wheel is further back because I believe the upper control arm is back. Now on to what I got, where these are controllers that people mostly put on either your BRZ or FRS or 86 or your STI and your WRX. They all come with this type of arm if you want to adjust with extreme camber. And believe it or not, these cost, don't quote me on this, I don't remember how much I bought them for, but it's $430 something versus $300 something in the dealer for one OEM control arm. So obviously it makes more sense with this. Plus I get adjustability if I want to at least adjust the camber, and I have so much adjustability everywhere now in the rear that's just insane how much what I can do now. So the upper control arm I got right here, if the camera can focus. So obviously control arms are labeled too for left, and you have right here for right, so you don't have to worry about if you ever get confused which one goes where, the whole 9 yards. So the game plan is the following. On the WRX, I'm gonna first work on this side, which is this is the good side. I'm gonna put the control arm, put everything on, so I know what to do on the other side. And the other side, I'm gonna film exactly what I did when I put the coilovers and the lower control arm. It's just to get a feel for how to fix that. And what I'm gonna do for these control arms, I'm gonna make sure these are the same length as the good upper control arm, because the thing is, I want these to be the same exact length as the OEM control arm. For the reason of that, I just don't want extreme camber. I just bought these because I could adjust them if I do want to adjust them, so it doesn't start rubbing on top and stuff like that. And I can trust the camber in the bottom, I could adjust the camber on the top, so I have more adjustability wherever I want to be adjusted. Now I'm hoping this fixes this problem here on the rear driver, because if that doesn't fix it, most likely I'm gonna have to buy a new I guess subframe that connects all the rear differential and all the drive arms, everything in the rear and the axles. If I have to get that, that's gonna be a living nightmare, but hey, you gotta do what you gotta do to make sure you can fix the problem this poor WRX had from the previous owner. So the first step I'm gonna do is the following. So the first thing I'm gonna do, I'm gonna go ahead and I already put the handbrake on and I put the car in first gear just to make sure the car doesn't go absolutely anywhere. I'm gonna jack up the car, but before that, I'm actually gonna loosening the lug nuts, not remove, loosening them from the driver's side to the passenger side. You're gonna go ahead and loosen them, not tighten them. So when you raise up the car, you can just loosen up the lug nuts by hand, and then you can go ahead and take out the wheel. So that's gonna be the first step to go ahead and make this process go as easy as possible. Alright, here we are. The WRX is jacked up right now and both stands are holding the rear. Go ahead and install the driver's side first, because that's the best arm right now, and I can teach you guys how to put that control arm. But first things I'm going to do is do the other side, and then I'll go ahead and film the driver's side, which is the worst arm right now. But let's go ahead and take out the wheels, and then from there I'll start installing it on the other side. Here it is, my friends. The right control arm, which is, this is the, I believe, well, this is the good control arm that has no damage, had no camber issue or anything like that. So this is the passenger side, the driver's the one with the issue. So the game plan is, I'm gonna adjust this arm to the right, and the left arm, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go ahead and adjust the same length from here to here, so they both can be equal. What I'm trying to do is I'm trying to get both arms to be the same, because this control arm right here is actually straight. But I'm gonna go ahead and measure from here to here, here to here, see how see if I can match the same length. Alright, after many painstaking measuring, so I measured this right upper control arm in the rear, measured with the right side upper control arm, measured it, adjusted the right side, and then I mirrored that to the left side, so both of them are equal. Once you figure out what you're gonna measure on the right arm, whichever arm is good, or in this case, at least in my case, what I'll do is I measured this arm with this arm, and then what I did is I mirrored this right here. This is from this is from here, because obviously you have somewhere to measure. Right here to right here, then right here to right here. So now the game plan is now obviously is to put these arms, this arm, which is the right side, I'm gonna put this arm right now in there on the right side. Sorry, I'm gonna focus on my finger, and then I'm gonna go ahead and show you what I did. Let me go ahead and install this one there, and I'll show you how it looks at the end. And here we are. This is the final look. Everything is, so I tighten this, I tighten that right there, which holds that, which you're gonna have to push it down all the way. And back there, the nuts there in the back, the other nuts forward, because you have to put the bolts in from the inside. It goes out from the inside and it goes out. If not, you have no room to put it on either side, because there's just no room there. I'm gonna show you that later on. So then I tighten that nut over there and tighten that nut. So fortunately, I do have to do all of that in the bottom. That's what I discovered. So I thought, yeah, I don't have to do nothing in the bottom, but fortunately you do. So this is how the control arm looks like. It's been adjusted. Obviously you can see here. As you can see, I mean, this nut here tightens here, and this nut tightens for this one. This is the main adjustment for this whole entire thing, the one in the middle. So this is gonna hold this from moving, and this is gonna hold that from twisting the whole actual piece here. The wheel here for safety. I don't care if this falls on the wheel and destroys it. It's better that than my face. So this is how the OEM one looks like. So you can tell that obviously there's a space between here, like you saw over there. There's nothing tying up here because OEM just has a bushing, whatever you want to call that. Besides that, this is the actual side that has the issue. But since I already did the other side, we're gonna go ahead and take this arm out next, and this is the one I'm gonna show the video on, so you guys can see the struggles of doing this. And yeah, so let me get started. Okay, first thing we're gonna go ahead and remove this. This is what the line is holding on the brake line. And what I like to do is just take it out and put it back there so that way you don't lose it. And there you go. The phone steps are a little bit annoying. You're gonna remove this clip here, and there's another clip that you can't see it there to remove because that's what's holding the ABS line. Of course, I suggest use the needle nose pliers to pretty much pinch in there to remove it. So the next step is to, I don't know if you can see that. So this is the upper control arm right there. You're gonna go ahead and loosen that nut right there, which is a 17mm. I don't take it off completely, just loosen it. Alright, so here I am underneath the Subaru. And this is the upper control arm right here. This is the bolt right here, and there's another bolt right over here. The car's facing forward this way, so this is the front and this is the back of the upper control arm. This is one nut right here, the other nut is over the other side right there. And the only way to remove this, which everything is 17mm, here you're gonna have to use a wrench to go ahead and remove this because there's legit no room here to put any ratchet or anything. But the other side, you need a very small and compact ratchet to remove that. That's no other way of doing it, but it's gonna be very small and compact with the 17mm, but very small socket as well. And then you go ahead and remove it. Once these nuts are loosened, you can use a big ratchet or whatever the case may be to go get these guys right here, and you can start spinning it. All you need is just a wrench to hold here and here, and then you're gonna go ahead and loosen and take out the nut, and then the control arm is ready to go. Alright, so as you saw there, I loosened up both nuts. Next step is just use a ratchet to hold the nut on each side. Use a big ratchet to go ahead and start loosening the bolts from the control arm. Okay, next step, just finish removing this, so you can go ahead and remove out the bolt. Now for this, I'm going to use a little small extension with a hammer to go ahead and pop this out, and you'll see exactly what I'm saying. Well, this is the arm that took off on the passenger. This is the driver's side. Oh, this is a new one. I don't know, maybe just me. This is just the good arm. And this is a bad one. Looks like this one looks like it's kinked a little bit more. Maybe that's just my theory, because it just feels that way. I don't know, let me see if I can catch it on camera. Let me put it the other way, actually, it's just a smaller one. See here, see this one looks like it has a more sharp angle. This one looks like it has that much of a sharp angle. I know the lighting is not the best here, but it looks like a little bit kinked to me. And then putting this one in should fix the issue. Should, quote unquote. So next step, I'm gonna show you how to install this. It's pretty much the same exact thing. All you're doing is reversing everything you just did. Alright, so you want to have this black bolt, which is the one that's gonna go on the front of the control arm. Just get this ready, and it's gonna go like this, and then the nut is gonna go like this. Obviously I can't show you exactly there because it's very difficult to show, but let me just put the control arm there and put this bolt in there. Next step is going to ahead and put this piece in this hole right here. Now you're going to put it in there. It's going to be a big of a struggle. So it's good to have this right there, a rubber mallet, not a metal one. A rubber mallet. If you don't have a rubber mallet, you can use wood and use a hammer, but then you run into like space. So I recommend having that. I'm using the jack right now, just pushing it just a little bit so this stays firm and doesn't move or anything like that. And this can just slide in. I may go ahead and show you that. And there you go, just like that. It's in there. You can tell when it's in there completely because you can't anymore. So next thing I'm gonna do is go ahead and just tighten this here, which I believe this is a 22 millimeter. I'm gonna go ahead and verify that, and then just tighten it as much as you can for now. It's not just temporary. And then you're gonna put the bolt through here to hold this in place. And this bolt right here is a 22, so go ahead and tighten it. So let's go ahead and take this off right here. Let me move this ABS line here. Let's just move this right here. Put this back here. It's very important to put this back. Like I said, you didn't necessarily have to move it, but I want to make sure this thing, the whole hub doesn't move out. And then this whole line is getting pinched. Definitely do not want to play with your brakes. Alright, since we have the bolts in the control arm, the last thing is to go ahead and put the nut in there. Nut in there. Same thing like I told you. With the nut, you're going to hold with a wrench, 17 millimeter wrench. Same thing here. With a regular big ratchet, you can go ahead and put it here and just cracking down because you see here you have plenty of room to put a ratchet here. And there you have it. Just finish up with the small wrench there. What a pain that was. Last step is to go ahead and we can just zip tie wheel speed sensor to the control arm. There's no perfect way of doing it. Just go do your best to zip tie. Unfortunately, there's no clips to clip this in. It is what it is. Aftermarket stuff. The next thing I'm gonna do is go ahead and you can tighten this here. Make sure you tighten this small bolt goes to the middle bolt to tighten. And the bigger bolt goes in where the blue control arm is already. Make sure you tighten it hard, real hard. So this is gonna be like this. See what I'm saying? So this bolt is gonna stay attached with this one. This to the blue control arm right here. Okay, very simple. And there you have it. Also all nice and zip tied. It's all ready to go. And the other side is zip tied as well. So the best you can zip tie. There's no real science to it. Just make sure there's just some slack in each end, just in case when these things are moving up and down. Not that it's going to be too crazy, but you always should have a little bit of slack. So what's left to do is just to put it on the wheel, torque them down, and you're set. But before that, I'm actually going to raise up the coilovers at least 1 inch more. Oh, and there it is. Looks like it fixed it. I think that was the issue there. It was the upper control arm. I did raise it up just a little bit. I had to reload it back again, but you know, it was obviously off camera. But I think it fixed it. I mean, I think until I go to the alignment to see if it's fixed. It still looks like it's still towards back. So does the other side. I don't know if it's some other arm or anything, but you know what? At least it's good for now. I'm happy with the results. It actually did fix it because it moved it forward. Because back, it used to be real close here, and you couldn't barely even fit your hand through there. Now it's perfect. So you know, you get that one little piece there from the, but that's just the inner fender liner. But besides that, I mean, it's really good right now. The other side, it pretty much matches the other side. I know you can't see because I have a bush there, but a tree, but the best we can. It looks, at least from camera, it looks a bit good. Alrighty, thank you for watching for this install for upper control arms. I hope you enjoyed and learned something from it, because that was a little pain in the butt. But remember to like and subscribe. Thank you for watching, and take care.